how do I get my real estate license in Iowa? I want to talk specifically about is how do I get into real estate? You have to be a real estate agent or a realtor. You have to take and get your certification or your license before getting into real estate. You don't need to shadow anybody. You don't need to go work somewhere. It's not an employee-employer relationship. You're starting your own business. You're a 1099 full commission realtor, just so you know. So how it works is, how do I get going, right? You've got to get your real estate license. That's the first step. So I want to specifically talk about how do I get my real estate license in Iowa? It's a little bit different in each state. Just because we're close with Omaha and Council Bluffs, there's a river separating. It's two separate states, so you have to be licensed in each state. You can't just get licensed in Nebraska and drive across the river because it's close by. It's state by state. So each state has their own requirements. So let's cover Iowa. You have to take 60 hours of real estate classes, pre-license classes first. You can do those classes at a college, a university, a real estate school. You can take them online at a real estate school, and that's going to depending on your preference. I always recommend that you take the classes online. It's usually cheaper, and usually you can get through them a little bit quicker. With in-person classes, you have to work around their schedule. So real estate classes online normally take people about 2 to 3 months to get through that 60 hours. And then when you're doing them in person, it's normally 4 to 6 months because you have to work around their schedule and they don't always offer everything right away. So that's a little bit different there. And then classes online, normally you're going to spend about $300 to $500 for the classes, versus in person, you're normally going to spend about $800 to $1,200 for the classes in person. It's a little bit cheaper to do it online, but it depends on your learning style. So I want to make sure it's clear. If you need someone to hold you accountable or a reason to drive there or to be at that class, then go do that. You know yourself better than I do, but you want to make sure that whatever works for you. I personally like online because you can log in anytime, day, night, weekend, and you can do it from anywhere, but I don't need someone pushing me to attend. I have the discipline myself. So again, pick your own preference. IowaRealtors.com is a great resource for taking them on Zoom or in person, okay? If you want to do them online, Calibria is also a really good real estate school. I don't get paid anything extra to say that. There's no financial incentive, just so you know. Those are just two that I recommend. You go wherever you want. Okay, that's the first step, is 60 hours of pre-license classes. The next thing that you need to do is you need to take a background check. And how that works is, once you register with the Iowa Real Estate Commission that you want to be a real estate agent, they will send you the fingerprints in the mail, and then you'll call the sheriff's office, and actually specifically Council Bluffs is where I did mine. You'll contact the Council Bluffs Police Department, you'll schedule a fingerprinting, and they will actually take your fingerprints right there, and then you'll mail them in. Okay, so a background check, fingerprint is the second step in order to get your real estate license. And then the third step is you take the real estate test. So you take the real estate test, and there's two tests. There's a national and there's a state. The national test is different in every single state, but so it sounds weird because it seems like it'd be the same everywhere, but it's not. A national test is just general knowledge every real estate agent needs to know. And then the second test you'll take is the state test, which is specific laws required in the state of Iowa. Obviously, there's different laws for every single state. So the state test in Iowa is 40 questions. The national test is 80 questions for Iowa. So again, you take two tests, you have to get at least a 70% pass rate or above to pass the test. One cool thing is, if you pass one of the two, you only have to take the other one. So let's say you pass state, the next two tries, because you get 2 attempts to take the national. If you don't pass in those 2, then you have to take them both all over again. So I always recommend pass one of the 2, and then next time when you take the test, you only have to focus on that one portion. It's a little bit easier. Again, it has a 31% pass rate. Last time I heard, most people take the test 4 times. So just be prepared for that. That's not an indication how successful you're going to be or unsuccessful. Sadly, most of the things that you learn on the test and in the classes, you'll never use again, but it's required. Again, you will use it, but in a different capacity. So I don't want to downplay school and what's required, because it is required. But generally speaking, you're not using those things on a daily basis to help your real estate career. So don't think, oh, I'm not doing well with the test. That's a sign if I'm going to be good or bad. That's no indication. That's just an indication if you're good at memorizing things. That's how tests work. And then the fourth and final thing is you have to take 36 hours of classes via Zoom or in person. So these you cannot take self-paced online. They have 3 specific classes that you need to take, 3 12-hour classes. And there's a few universities, schools, real estate schools that do offer them. So make sure you check out some of those specific things on the Iowa Real Estate Commission, iowarealtors.com, and there's a few others that offer those kinds of services. But that's the steps. So you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4. First one, 60 hours pre-license classes. Background check, fingerprint is step 2. Step 3, take a test, pass, both tests. The 4th step is 36 hours of classes, 3 12-hour classes, and those have to be on Zoom or in person. Once you finish all 4 of those things, you are now a real estate agent. You can now go work at a brokerage or a team, and you're ready to get going.